Hey everybody, and welcome back to our latest episode. And again, for those who don't remember, I'm Roddy.
I'm Landy.
And together in our episodes, we talk about all the good and bad of Mexico. We moved to Mexico about 3 years ago in 2021 with our young son Louie, and we discuss life here as foreigners, expats, whatever you want to call it, in Mexico. And so today we're going to talk about something that some people may consider after living in Mexico for a while: is should they return back home? So we're going to dive into that, talk a little bit about some of the reasons we came here, anything we might miss from back in the U.S., and hopefully we can find people leave some comments and we can have a little discussion. And if you get value out of this, of course, we appreciate it if you like and subscribe our channel. And with that being said, let's jump in.
Move on. Yeah.
So, do we regret moving to Mexico? What do you think?
No, that's why we're still here.
Right. I think at the end of the day, there's lots of things that people who move here can appreciate about Mexico. Right.
Yeah.
And I think obviously one of the most popular reasons that people come here is because of the economic reasons. Right.
Right.
And I know right now, actually, the dollar is kind of rebounding a little bit, and so it's becoming a little bit easier, even though it does fluctuate. The peso to the dollar. But at the end of the day, your dollar or Canadian dollar, euro, whatever it might be, is going to stretch a lot further here in Mexico.
Yeah,
right?
Even stretch less, but still stretch more.
Yeah. And this is going to go to your daily living, right? To things like your food, eating out, bills.
The bills, housing, rents.
Right.
Are their salary raised up $100 or $150 a month?
Yeah, on average, probably not, right?
Yeah.
And so I think this is something that affects a lot of people in the U.S., whether you are the owner of the house or you rent, right? And it seems right now everything in the U.S. as far as property is concerned is just going up and up, right? Of course.
I heard so many, the housing insurance raised up a lot.
Crazy.
In some states, even double.
So some of the things you told me are like a couple of thousand.
Yeah,
right?
it's crazy.
So definitely housing, again, to try to avoid that. Again, things are, you can get a lot more bang for your buck here in Mexico. So yeah, definitely housing back in the U.S. and I'm sure Canada, other parts of the world, everywhere it's raised, even here in Mexico. But I just don't think to the level as back in the U.S.
I'm sorry.
Right. And then of course there's your daily things, of course, like we talked about bills, right? I know when we left, bills were through the roof and they were crazy as far as your basic amenities like electricity was crazy high. And again, just like everything else, all that is going up as well. I do hear from my tenants because things like when prices go up for rents, they talk about, of course they are struggling. We understand that it's a tough thing because they even mentioned, even my bills are going up. Our water, everything is going up.
Yeah.
I think even daily things like groceries, right?
Grocery, the tips to the restaurants, the restaurants bills, the bills, restaurant bills already raised up, and then the tips percentage also raised up.
Right.
So it's a double.
Yeah, everything kind of just goes up along with that. So again, obviously, for economic reasons, it's definitely going to be, that's something that we don't miss from back in the U.S. Again, is the cost of living here is much better.
Yeah, especially after living in Mexico for very long.
Yeah.
We're already used to the price here. Then once you go back to the U.S.,
oh yeah,
what the heck are those vegetables? Those squash are so expensive.
I catch myself. I went back a few weeks, about a month or two ago.
Oh, that's
I went
true.
back. And I'm going back in about another week. I'm going back to Texas, and I catch myself all the time. I feel like an old man or something, like an old grandma, grandpa. Whenever I see some prices of things, whether it's at Target or the grocery store, like audibly, I'll be like, like what happened to the price?
Yeah.
Like I don't believe it went up that much. And I'm sure some people out there, some of our people who may be watching, again, let us know. Are we completely off base? Have something stayed the same, or I doubt it, but has anything gone down? What are some things that are happening out there where you're from? Because I know Texas is one thing, but other states and parts of the world are going to be very different. So, are we on par, with this as far as, is this pretty common everywhere you go?
My personal feeling is when we went back to Texas, lived there for 6 months, we were fixing a house back there for our business. The only big thing is, it's not that we go to supermarket to shop. Maybe the price is on and off. Some place you can find things on sale. Right. You can find something discount or better price. But my point is, if you go to restaurants, that's the thing. Yeah, you don't feel like to cook, or we just travel for short term, stay in the hotel. Eating out is the big thing. Eating out and the tips. That's the big thing.
Wow.
And all the tax. You see the price, then you see the tax and the tips.
Right.
That's the big thing. Then you add up everybody gonna eat. We have a little one gonna eat. Like 3 or 2 times, 3 times a day, that easily costs you $60 to $80, $100 easily.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's the thing. But in Mexico, eating out, yeah, it's getting expensive. The tacos are more expensive than before. No more 10 peso a taco this time anymore, but still more affordable.
Right.
3 of us, 150, 200 peso.
We can have a nice meal.
Eat some tacos, some birria. Okay, yeah, you can make it happen.
Sure.
But back in Texas, I'm not just talking about Texas, the whole U.S. Texas still lower price compared to California. That's a lot.
Right. And I think we even talked about something like this before. I think we're lucky that we can cook. We can both cook. We can afford to cook, and we know how to cook.
Yeah.
I have the feeling that younger generations and younger people, or even people maybe our age, who don't know how to cook, who have to go eat out a lot.
Easily $15 a meal if you're eating out for your work lunch.
That's the low end, right?
Yeah.
That's just your basic.
And plus the tips.
Fast food, like something like that. So again, if you're having to eat out quite a bit, I'm sure you're really feeling the pinch. So I think the suggestion: learn how to cook. You can save a little bit.
But then you cook, also consider you buy the materials, your time, your cleaning. It's a whole thing.
Sure.
Which if you cook more, like I cook a lot at home. Now I cook a little bit less, but it's extra stress. Yeah. Every day you got to consider what's for lunch, what's for dinner. It's like a rat race in the kitchen. And you have to eating, you have to clean. Oh, then what about next day? You know, it's coming.
Right.
You got to buy again. So it's just to keep running. It's also extra stress in life.
Right. So again, at least with here, again, you do have the comfort and the choices and the ability to go out and not have it affect your pocketbook so much.
No, right? even you call delivery, it's still less. Yeah. No extra service fee or extra tips. You give 20 peso tips for the man. That's good.
Yeah. No big deal. So you have obviously the things like the economic reasons, that. That can affect you. I think something else, is even though you still hear about it, and it's kind of annoying sometimes when you hear about it much less. Or things like politics, right? I mean, I know, like the other day I was telling you about, we went to go eat out, and there was a couple behind us before you got there, and I heard him talking about politics. I was like, why do you come to Mexico to talk to politics? And this was a couple, right? This wasn't just like some friends. Like this is you can tell. Like, so if you're a couple, why are you talking about politics at breakfast? But with that being said, you hear a lot less about it.
It's a momentum.
Right.
That I explained to Rod. Like the other day we were at our compound swimming pool, and it's young people. Looks like our age, we're young. Yeah, 30, 40. Like they talk about, Mexico, why you don't want to travel here? Oh, because I don't like some political things. Like they just all of a sudden talk about it. I was like, well, you are on vacation for a few days or weeks. Enjoy, relax.
Right.
But then I think why? Because of the momentum.
Right.
So in the back home, they always talk about it every day.
Right.
So here they could have just totally cut it off.
Right. So when you come here, and again, you start meeting locals or people from around the world, they care less and less about politics from where they're from. They're Canadian or European or whatever. They don't care. I mean, obviously, we don't know their politics. They don't know ours so much. And so people just kind of let it go. Mexican people don't care so much about U.S. politics. So again, you just hear much less about it. It's so much more kind of relaxing on the brain.
It is. And then I don't understand Spanish much. That's why I don't watch Spanish TV news.
Right.
So I don't get those negative TV news information to bother my brain every day.
Right.
Which is good. I love it.
Right. And pretty much all those social issues. I mean, of course, I'll still hear some social issues, online. I'll watch some YouTube and I, hear some things about the different. Pick a social issue where people are bickering at each other constantly. And unless you search it out and hear it, which I do a little bit. I know you do a lot less of it, but even just in general, again, you hear a lot less of that out in public. So kind of on the same vein as the political topics, all the little social issues where people are so divided and so split. Yeah. Again, you don't go out there and you don't have those kind of conversations, right? Unless you're meeting with expats and someone brings it up on their other side. But even if they do, I know I
walk away.
Right.
One Canadian man complained about the Trump. I was like, I'm not interested in the topic.
Yeah.
I have to go.
Right.
Excuse me.
Right. Find a moment to interrupt the conversation and walk away. Because again, here you don't have to be engaged in those type of conversations. No. And I think that's a good idea. Even if you're back in the US or Canada or anywhere, again, and you don't want to hear those kind of conversations, just find a break, excuse yourself, walk away. You'll be much happier in the end, not talking about all those silly political social
don't
issues.
let those negative backwards bother our spacious mind. Focus on some more fun things in life.
Right. Like, where am I going to go fishing today?
How's the wave today?
Yeah.
Should I go swimming or jogging today? I think it's more fun.
Yeah. So we have our political issues, we have our social issues, economic issues.
Talk about the economy because I have to go back to the housing. I forgot to say one thing is maintenance. You own a house, not just the tax, insurance goes up, the maintenance.
Sure.
Anything happen, that's your house, okay? As a renter, okay, that's my landlord's issue.
Right.
Majority, my landlord's issue. But it's your own house, that's a lot of money to maintain it, fix the roof, fix the AC.
All materials gone up.
Plumbing, and not just that. What about the maintenance from the lawnmower, the backyard, front yard, the house cleaning?
Yeah.
Right. How much we pay for our house cleaning? 500 pesos for two-story house.
Oh yeah. It's very affordable for one day for a relatively
500 peso. Home. It's equal to about $30 now. If you went to 16, 17, $30. Right. What do you do with $30 for a cleaning lady come to your house?
You might get that for 1 hour back in the U.S.
Yeah, for 4 or 5 hours, clean your whole house.
Right. So again, that's definitely something to consider is maintenance. Whether you're a landlord like us or you own the house back home. Again, the labor's going up, products are going up, right? Even just the wood, everything.
Yeah.
So definitely something.
Here in Mexico, we just rent. We rent. For this renting, even includes water. And here we shower a lot. I appreciate the water now. And then anything broken, call the maintenance man. Come over.
Right. Much easier.
I don't need to pay my pool. We have a pool here. We only pay we go to gym. We pay the gym membership. That was it.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's additional headache as a homeowner in the U.S.
Right.
That's extra headache. We were homeowner back in the U.S.
Right.
I know how much you're paying. It's always extra money. Dishwasher broken, $150 is gone.
Yeah. And
you cannot write it off. As we're landlord, we can write off our maintenance in real estate.
No, we can't.
Homeowner, no.
Not so much, right? So those are definitely some things that we appreciate being here in Mexico. I think childcare in general. Yeah. I mean, which kind of goes under the economic umbrella.
Right.
Right. Daycare is much better here.
We paid about $300, about 5,000 pesos something a month.
Yeah, here.
Right. Let's say about $300 includes food.
Includes food, right?
4 day, Monday to Friday, 7 hours a day.
Right. And the startup, they have the inscription and you have to buy the materials. But again, not that much. Like maybe like $100, I think it was roughly about.
Yeah.
But again, that's for the whole year. So
yeah, of course, if you're residents, you can send your kids to the public schools. They are free.
Right.
Of course, you can get on the line. Depends on the schools.
Right. Yeah. Because I know we checked that once in Queretaro.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for 6 months.
Right. There was a waiting list because again, it is free, and there's obviously going to be a waiting list. You have to wait for kids to get out before a spot comes open, and you wait your turn in line. So again, if you have to pay for daycare, much more affordable. Again, what was the last place we paid? How much were we paying in Cold Spring?
I think the lowest price we got in Cold Spring was $800.
$800. That's what I thought. It just seems so much which is a very good price in general for the U.S. Texas.
Yeah, but it's like a pretty small daycare.
Right, small and
not much yard or anything.
Countryside.
Right?
Yeah. So again, $800, which as compared to like we said, $300 that we pay here. That's $500 difference we're saving right there just in childcare. And here, again, like she said, it was kind of a smaller place, countryside, a little older. This place is much newer. Again, very nice facilities. AC, it has its own little playground and little
and a bilingual.
It's bilingual. I mean, it's a great daycare for the price you pay, and you can't beat it. Right?
And also the insurance part in the U.S. I know the insurance, medical care, everything just really
medical
high.
Care, right? We're about to go to the doctor for the first time here in Puerto Vallarta, so we can get back to you and let you know what prices look like here in Puerto Vallarta for a private doctor.
Yeah.
But again, right in the U.S. definitely pricey. I mean, we all know medical expenses are through the roof, and especially if you don't have insurance. You're probably really in trouble then, especially if something catastrophic or major happens.
Yeah, right. And then for the medical travel insurance, we're using the safety wing. And I talked about that before. I think it's very affordable.
Yeah.
For 3 of us, 2 adults, we get our 4-year-old for free, $150 a month for 3 of us to cover like literally most countries in the world. If we move to another country, we go back. If last time you travel back to the U.S., it cover you 15 days every 90 days, which is awesome. If you're interested, you can check the link in below.
Yeah, it's really good, right? Yeah. If you're thinking about traveling, it's always good to have travel insurance. Check out the safety wing. Yeah. So what else? Any last things you want to add on that part?
I think that was literally everything. Maybe.
Yeah. So now maybe on the kind of on the flip side, are there some things that maybe we miss from the U.S., right? Or some things that, as maybe someone who lives here for a while, that you may regret, having moved here? And
I do have one thing to add on to talk about the people here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the lifestyle, it's slower pace.
Sure.
As people, it's all related because of the economic cost of living. So people have to work really hard to afford the lifestyle there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, in the U.S., right?
Yeah, because everybody work really hard about second, third job. I'm not talking about the people here don't work hard, but you can feel just the whole lifestyle is much slower here.
Right. Oh, yeah. In general,
yeah.
I think maybe the only place where that was kind of the exception was maybe Mexico City.
Oh, yeah, it's a big city.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it kind of falls under the umbrella of big metropolis. But definitely anywhere else outside of there, there definitely does have that feeling of a much more laid back kind of lifestyle, especially here in Puerto Vallarta. It's just everyone here is chill, relaxed, it's hot. People are on vacation.
Yeah,
it definitely has that that vibe to it.
Yeah,
right?
Love the vibe.
So going back to what our final topic would be again are some things that people may miss or regret from back home, right?
Sure.
Now again, I think for some people, I think maybe one of the things they may miss is going to be things like family, right? It can be difficult moving abroad to a new country and leaving family behind. Like I said, I know I have my mother and sister and some nieces back in the U.S. And so, of course, being far away, it's not like I can, but it's not as easy just to jump on a plane and go and visit, right? It's going to cost a little bit of extra money.
Sure.
So I know for a lot of people who have maybe more extended families, bigger, it depends on how close you are to your family.
Or they come to visit you.
Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, actually,
one way or the other.
I heard that there are more precious time for family get together because you moved to Mexico. So everyone got excited. Oh, I come to see you. Which city? Or maybe we can go there for a week. Yeah. So they get a more precious time together.
Right. So again, that's one thing that people may miss. It's just the closeness to family, right? Yeah. Depending on how close you are to your family. There's some people who don't care.
Like your sister visited here already twice.
Right. And my mother once, right?
Right.
But not to Puerto Vallarta. So I'm sure that for them, in the back of their mind, I'm sure it's coming soon, right? Something else that people may miss, this should be an obvious one, is going to be being like the culture shock and the language, right?
True.
Again, like Landy just mentioned, you come to Mexico, you may not be used to the pace of life, the way things are taken care of here. They're definitely on a much slower time scale as far as getting things done. And then obviously the language. Some people can adjust to that, some people can't. I know Landy's done a really good job of
trying,
and her Spanish has improved. And I don't know if you can speak more to that.
Yeah, I just think that's just very useful. You live here, you want to talk to people, even just not only for daily living or just chatting. And it's good to learn. Right. That's why I'm use Duolingo to learn, practice, go once a week, some coffee chatting time, and I think it's good. Right.
And so a lot of people, they never take those kind of steps, right? And so if you don't, again, obviously that's on you. And if you're having trouble communicating with people and locals, then that may be an issue where, again, you don't feel comfortable. After a time, you may want to return back home, because of the language barrier, right? Or again, just the cultural thing, the way things are done here. Some people just can't get used to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of any country you move to.
True.
Right. So yeah, you definitely. What are you gonna say?
Maybe just as you said, the way that people do things in the U.S. maybe it's more organized, has more system. Here is the system is really depends. Like even just the first step, you go to get your residence card, right? All the steps, all the requirements.
Right.
Like it can be on off. It really depends which officer you talk to, which office you go, which state. Something like really depends on the place.
And I think even things like the computer systems, for some reason, like they shut things down, or a lot of times systems for government agencies are shut down, or they're not functioning. We did run into these, as far like making an appointment. In the U.S., you can pretty much make an appointment for anything, whether it's government or not, online. Very simple, right? You can register, boom, done. Here, the system's down. You can't. It's only closed. It's only open for these tiny short windows. Again, so it does kind of feel a little bit more difficult, right? And you're going to need patience, right? So again, Some people, like I said, they
Need the
can't get used to
patience.
it, and they need the patience. They can't adjust to that, and they want to go running home to where things can be a little smoother.
But some parts are good, like the doctor normally has a WhatsApp. You can just talk to them as any time we need.
Right.
You know, that's very reachable.
Right.
I think in the US, like after the doctor visits anything, maybe they will not text you back.
No. Right.
No, that's not that's extra service they do.
Right. You know, like right now, like we're talking about, we have to take maybe Louie to a doctor for a small issue, and again, we were given a contact. I've already contacted him through WhatsApp, and we've already talked a little bit, and then he sent me a link to make an appointment. But again, just talking directly with a doctor before you even get there, that's nearly impossible. Back in the U.S., you're never going to talk to the doctor except for that little 10 minutes when you're in the same room with him, or her. That's the only time you're going to talk to them. Besides that, good luck trying to get a hold of them. Unless for other emergencies, you can call the office, and if they're not busy, maybe you can talk to them. But here, very easy to get hold of doctors and the nurses who do help you at the hospital. So, which is great.
Right. I really appreciate that. It's also one of the things, the system, but that's how people do things here.
True. Right. So that is a good part of the system here. What else might people miss back home? They get the culture, the families, food, systems.
Maybe their infrastructure. The highway and
right.
And then the U.S. not like in China has lots of subways and high-speed trains system, but at least the highways.
Right.
Here it really depends.
Exactly, it really depends. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Some of the toll roads are very nice. A lot of the other smaller roads and highways are not very nice. You can find some that are good. And again, not that the U.S. infrastructure and highways are anything to rave about, but when you compare, U.S. to Mexico in general, I would say the infrastructure here is better. Even things like the electrical grids, I think, are better. We've never had an issue per se with electrical issues, but I know I've heard a lot of other people and parts of the country have. In the U.S., again, it's going to happen everywhere, but it seems to happen a little bit less in the U.S. than it does here. Things like infrastructure. You always hear about don't flush toilet paper down the toilets here. Again, this all has to do with infrastructures and sewers. And again, that's because they're older and smaller, and they're always constantly renovating it. But it's just little things like that you have to get used to as well.
Yeah, talk about the water. Of course, the tap water are not drinkable.
Right.
When you have a shower, you're gonna close your mouth. But there's a small things. You get used to it. Buy a water filter. Right. Like what we did. Right. That's solutions.
Right. These are some things that people may miss, about their home country. And again, it might they may send them back to their home country after being in Mexico or any country after a while.
But here, the bus systems are good, no matter which city we stayed. The bus,
they're old.
Yeah, old, yes, but still they have bus and it's still very
affordable.
Easy. Yeah, even you don't have a car, okay, hop on the bus.
Yeah.
Like Mexico City, hop on a metro bus, subways. There are options.
Yeah.
But in the US, I don't like that. If you don't drive, your life just stuck in one area. Yeah. That's difficult, unless you live in New York.
Yeah, some bigger city or downtown area, right? That has its own little system.
Yeah, for people who don't drive, for me, perfect. Bicycle, scooter, bus, walk. Yeah. I think another thing we have to mention is the police.
Go ahead.
Police here, they're not really looking for trouble, but they are, and they don't. Some people say that they can easily just find the trouble on you, even you don't do anything.
Right.
And then they fine you. Right. They're gonna you need some money. You need some small money to get to solve those issues.
Right. Or you take the ticket. Either way, it's always going to be a hassle.
Hassle.
Right. Yeah. In that respect, I would say you're right.
In the U.S., I don't think that happened.
Well, no. This is how I would explain it. Having dealt with police in both places. And what you always kind of see here in Mexico. For the most part, police don't tend to look for trouble. Kind of like you said, right? Here they drive around with their lights on. I see hundreds, maybe not hundreds, but lots and lots of traffic violations constantly as far as people running lights, doing all kinds of crazy things on the road. And with police, just like whatever, and people standing in the back of trucks and whatever. For the most part, police don't look for trouble. If you happen to do something wrong and trouble finds you and the police are involved, be prepared for a long, lengthy process. In the U.S., it always seems the police are looking for something. right? You don't use a blinker, boo, and then where are you going? What are you doing? Can I check your car? Like they're always kind of fishing for trouble, always looking to try to get you in trouble, like to try to arrest you.
Yeah, but they try to arrest you, but not try to look for money.
Right.
Here, sometimes it's not all money involved, but some chance, especially dealing with foreigners.
Right.
So there is a chance
Right.
they want to looking for some cash in hand.
Right. And there's different thoughts on it. Some people say pay the bribe. Some people say don't. It only adds to the corruption. But again, that's a small part. But like I said, in general, I feel the police leave you alone and they don't look for trouble here, which I really appreciate because in the U.S. you always have that. If a police gets behind you in the U.S., I would imagine this is pretty true for most people. You always kind of get that anxiety. Am I doing everything right? They're going to pull me over. And you may not pay the police money, but you're going to have to pay the ticket.
Sure.
Right? Here, police get behind you, whatever. You see them on the street. It doesn't really seem to affect anybody. So again, I really kind of like that part.
I've been walking around for 3 years. Nobody stopped me. Like, I want to see your ID. I never take my ID when I go out.
Yeah. Knock on wood there.
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh. So, should be okay.
That is a pretty good point. The police and how they interact with the public in Mexico and the U.S. is very different, right? So I think that's pretty good. Anything else? Last things you want to add in there?
I think that was pretty much all. Oh, and another thing I have tried to say, the safety.
Okay.
Safety is always people have two different topics.
Yeah.
Oh, the safety in Mexico. No, I would never go to Mexico City. Oh no, I heard bad stories.
Right. Don't travel the highways.
Oh no, don't take a subway. I met a lady from Mexico City, but that was 10 years ago.
Right.
I was like, I took a subway.
Right.
I take it in the women's section in the front.
I think danger is all about perception and perspective.
Yeah.
Again, and you hear these comments online all the time, right? It doesn't matter where you are, Mexico, U.S. You want to look at the numbers and percentages, and that's one thing. Violent crime, it happens anywhere. I mean, people say, "Oh, don't go to Mexico. There's violent crime there." Go to that. Go to some areas of Houston. Go to Chicago. Go to some parts of LA, and you tell me how safe you feel in those areas, right? And even smaller towns are all over the place. You hear about dangerous crime. So crime happens everywhere. That's the one thing people need to understand: is it can happen anywhere. It can happen to anyone. Crime, for the most part, tends to be kind of spontaneous and
but I want to say in Mexico, just be cautious where you travel to, which city you choose to stay.
Just be aware.
That's very important. Even you stay in Mexico City, but not everywhere is in dangers. But certain area you try to avoid. Right. Do your own homework right.
Right.
That's more important.
Yeah.
And also, just as a woman living here for this long, I feel very comfortable each city we lived in. I walk around by myself, take a bus. So far, I feel comfortable. Right. There are some people on the streets, some men homeless, but they never, I feel something threatened. Yeah, but in Houston, a few times when I walk around by myself, normally people don't walk around in Houston. That's the thing. I'm Asian, I love to take a walk. But that's the thing, I take a walk, nobody walk, then there's a homeless man on the street drinking beer or some talk, blah, blah. I don't know, I don't feel comfortable because there are not many people around me.
Right.
Here you walk, there are people around.
Right.
Yeah, there are homeless men on the street, so what?
There's also 50, people just walking by going to work.
But that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. In the U.S., you don't see so many people really walk around.
No.
You see some homeless, and you feel a little bit nervous.
Right.
You don't know what's going on.
Right.
Is he on drug? Is he getting crazy?
Well, and a lot of them are, there's a big connection between homelessness and mental illness.
Yeah.
So again, you don't know what kind of episode they may be going through. I would understand that definitely for sure, especially as a woman. Right?
Especially as a woman, read the stories. Oh, there's an Asian woman got robbed. Asian family got robbed. Maybe just saying, I think we have cash when they want to rob us. I travel around here, walk around here. I feel very safe.
Yeah.
I feel this is a part different. Maybe as a man, you have a different feeling.
Sure. But like I said, it kind of goes back in general. I would think just you have to be aware of your surroundings, right? That's always number one. People always talk about just be aware of where you are. Look at what's happening. If you're going to the ATM, make sure you check everything around you. Stay out of certain neighborhoods. Stay out of certain neighborhoods at certain times of the day or night. That's common sense for anybody who's out there who's thinking about traveling. And tend to stay if you're traveling. Tend to stay to the more tourist areas. There's a reason for that. They tend to have more patrols around those areas. It's a common sense. it's not too difficult to
Yeah, we
figure out.
got some issues back in Mexico City. If you haven't watched that video, we caught a thief.
Yeah, it
I
happens.
will put the link there so you can check it out.
Yeah, we caught a thief.
We had experiences in Mexico.
Then you got something on your back.
Yeah. Don't touch me. Thank you.
All right. So, let us know what you think. Were we pretty much on point? Why people would, think about moving back to the U.S., or moving back, or staying even longer here in Mexico or any other country they would move to.
So far, we enjoy living here.
Yeah,
we don't have any thoughts to move back at any time.
No, I think at the beginning we talked about this. I mentioned to other people. We always thought, oh, maybe down the line, we'd go back to the U.S. when Louie gets older. But I think the longer and longer I stay here, or we stay here, the more I feel.
I think I feel happier here.
Yeah,
in general,
I'm not in
less stress.
I'm
happier.
not in any hurry to get back.
Yeah,
that's for sure. We could stay here one more year. We could stay here another 30 years.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, definitely not in a hurry yet.
Mm-hmm.
So let us know what you think. Leave a comment. We appreciate the time for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.